Hello everyone. Alright, today I am going to demonstrate how to make kale chips. Now, kale chips are basically a healthy alternative to, if you want, I don't know, you want to say like potato chips or any other type of snack really. Nowadays, a lot of people are trying to go with the healthy eating. And a lot of people like to snack, but they're not quite sure on what they can have and cannot have. And I've noticed kale chips are kind of becoming a pretty popular thing for those healthy eaters. So I'm going to demonstrate today how to make those. And it's pretty simple, it's not too hard. What you're going to need is just a baking sheet. You're going to need some tin foil. You can also use parchment paper, it doesn't really matter which one. I just happen to have the tin foil with me. You're going to need some salt. You will need some olive oil, or you could use vegetable oil. Either one works. And then you also are going to need the kale. Alright, so you're going to start with getting a piece of tin foil that's going to be big enough to fit on your baking sheet. Alright. Then you are going to want to grab your kale. And you're going to just want to spread it out on the baking sheet. When you are spreading it out, you want to make sure that the kale is not sitting on top of each other. You kind of want to spread it out where it's all just kind of loose fitting in there. Because if you have too much on there, and if it's all piled on top of each other, it won't get as crispy in the oven. And then sometimes there's some big pieces of the kale in here, so I just rip them up. Alright, then either with your vegetable oil or your olive oil, you're going to want to sprinkle it over the top of the kale. Now, I always put my finger over the top. I don't just directly do this because you don't want to get too much oil on the kale. If you get too much on it, it'll take a lot longer to get crispy, and then eventually it's going to start to burn and it won't crisp up. So I always put my finger over the top, and then all you want to do is just drizzle it over the top, just back and forth. Alright. Then you're going to want to grab your salt. I should mention, you can put other seasonings on here if you'd like. Typically though, I usually only see salt. I have done before salt and garlic. I guess it's really whatever your preference is you can do. I'm going to stick with the salt. And for the salt, kind of can throw as much as you want on. Guess it depends on how much salt you like. But just keep in mind, the more salt you use, the more saltier it's going to be. And that was the oven that just went off. I should mention that you should set your oven to about 350. You can do 325. But when I do it at 350, I usually have it in there for about 10 minutes, sometimes 15, kind of depends. But if you have it at a lower temperature, you're going to have to leave it in there for a longer time. I also, right before it finishes, I put the broiler on. That way it just crisps it up a little bit more. Usually that's only on for about a minute, maybe tops, because if you leave it on there too long, it's going to start to burn it. So that's it, just like that, and then it goes right into the oven. Set the timer for about 10 minutes. Alright, and then I had just made a batch right before. and this is how it's going to turn out here. You can hear them. They're a little bit crispy. And then the thing is, if you do put too much oil on, like I said, like this one right here, got a little too much oil, it's going to be softer. But the thing is, if I would have left it in longer, the crispy part here would eventually start to burn, and then this would eventually get crispy, but this would be no good already. So you just want to watch your oil while you're doing it. But yeah, it's as simple as that. And a healthy alternative. Thank you.